The sky was calm that morning. Birds flew as they always did. People walked to work. Children ran to school. Life on Earth looked normal. But something was wrong. Cade Walker stood on the edge of an old building, looking up. He was a quiet man, wearing a black coat and a cap pulled low. His eyes scanned the sky. He felt it, not fear, not wind, something else. A silence that was too deep, too heavy. Then it happened. The birds stopped flying. Not one, all of them. In the middle of the sky, wings froze. They dropped like stones. Hundreds, maybe thousands. People screamed as dead birds fell onto cars, windows, roads. A child pointed up. Look. The clouds were changing. Slowly, they turned black like ink, spilling into water. The sun disappeared, swallowed by a shape so big it covered half the sky. No sound came, no light. Only that black shape above Earth. Then came the sound. Not a boom, not thunder. It was something else. A low hum. A vibration deep in the bones. People covered their ears, crying, screaming, falling to their knees. Cars stopped working. Phones died. Planes fell from the sky. One plane crashed into a building near Cade. Fire rose, glass rained down. Still he didn't move. He knew what. This was years ago. He had trained for something like this. In secret programs the world didn't know about. Back then, they called it contact preparation. But no one believed it would really happen. Cade did. He just didn't know it would come like this. Without warning, without mercy, the shape in the sky broke apart. Small black ships like sharp blades came down fast, too fast to track. They didn't fire, they didn't speak. They simply landed. All. Across the world, in seconds, everything changed. Cities went dark. Satellites fell. Armies moved in tanks, jets, soldiers, but they were useless. One touch from those ships, and machines stopped. Guns melted. Drones crashed. Then, from the ships, they came, not machines. Not aliens like the movies showed. These were tall, dark beings with smooth skin like metal. Their faces were hidden by black glass. Their arms moved fast, cutting, grabbing, stunning. People ran, but there was nowhere to go. Cade watched it all. From above, he saw soldiers captured like insects. He saw people begging, screaming, hiding under cars, in shops, behind doors. None of it worked. He climbed down the building, fast and silent. In his coat, he had only a knife, a pistol, and something. Most people lost that day control. While others cried or screamed, Cade moved like he had trained for years, because he had. He moved through the broken streets, past burning cars and fallen drones. A woman grabbed his arm. "Please help my child." But Cade said nothing. Not because he didn't care, but because he knew helping one would get them both killed. He kept moving. He reached a hidden place. An old underground bunker, sealed years ago. It wasn't big, but it was safe. Inside, the lights were low, battery-powered. The air was thick with dust and metal. Screens still worked, powered by his own rigged system. He turned on the monitors. One by one, they showed different parts of Earth. All the same cities taken. Soldiers gone. World leaders captured and displayed on large alien screens. One by one, they were forced to kneel and say the same words, "We surrender." Cade watched in silence. He had once worked for the same government that now begged for life. They had called him a ghost, someone who did things that didn't exist. In reports, a K-class operative. When peace came, they erased him, shut down his program. Told him to vanish, so he did. But now, it seemed they hadn't forgotten him after all. A sound broke through his bunker. Strange beep. Cade turned to one of his signal scanners. It blinked red. Interference from outside? Oh, this was something. Elsie picked up the small radio device. Static. Then a voice. Strange, robotic alien. Target located. Human designation. K117. Eliminate. Cade froze. That was him. He was marked. They knew who he was. He turned off the radio. His mind was sharp, calm. The enemy wasn't just here to conquer. They had a list. They had names. His was at the top. That meant one thing. They were afraid of him. He smiled, just a little. Suddenly the lights flickered. A power surge. Then darkness. A loud bang echoed above. Dust fell from the ceiling. Heavy footsteps followed. Not human, not regular. They were here. Cade moved fast. He grabbed his bag, knife, and pistol. Quiet as a shadow, he opened a hatch on the side wall of a tunnel he dug years ago for escape. Footsteps grew louder. A voice cold and metallic spoke again. Human K-117. Come out. Resistance is meaningless. Cade dropped into the tunnel and closed the hatch. He didn't reply, because he wasn't going to. Surrendered, he was going to fight. The tunnel led to a back alley, quiet, empty. Smoke hung in the air. Cade moved quickly, watching every corner. He needed supplies. Weapons. Allies. If there were any left, he reached an old weapons cache buried under a fake shop. It had dust, rust, and one thing that worked: a small alien device, taken from a past Black Ops mission. One no one believed was real. Cade held it. The device glowed. He had never used it. Didn't even know what it did now. He would find out. He pressed the center button. The screen lit up, showing a strange map. Alien symbols, 1 red dot, then 2, then many moving fast toward him. The device was a tracker, and it worked both ways they could see him. Cade cursed and smashed the device. Too late. He grabbed what weapons he could and ran. Through the alleys, across broken streets, under the shadows of burning buildings. Behind him, a small ship landed. Dark shapes moved fast. Silent. Hunting, Cade ran into a destroyed mall. Empty shops. Glass everywhere. He hid behind a fallen sign and listened. Nothing. Then metal footsteps. They were close. He pulled his pistol. Only 5 bullets. Not enough. But he aimed. Quiet, steady, like before. The first alien turned the corner. Cade fired. The bullet hit straight between its glass-covered eyes. The body fell. Another came. Cade ducked, rolled, stabbed up with his knife. Sparks flew. Black liquid spilled too. Down, but more were coming. He ran again, deeper into the mall. He knew a way out through the old security tunnels. He reached the door and stopped. A small girl stood there, dirty, scared, no older than 10. She looked at him with wide eyes. Help me. Cade hesitated. More footsteps behind. He had no time. He grabbed the girl's hand. Come, they ran together through the dark tunnel. Past pipes, wires, rats. Behind them, the aliens followed. Cade stopped, pulled a wire from the wall, and used it to set a trap. They kept moving. Finally, they reached the surface of Dead Park under the red-black sky. The girl looked up, her face pale. Where's my mom? Cade didn't answer. He looked at the sky. The ships were still there. But now, something new appeared. A massive alien screen in the sky. It showed a picture of him, Cade Walker, with the words, Tay 117, dead or alive. They were hunting him, and now they would come harder. But Cade wasn't scared. They thought taking Earth was easy. They were wrong. They didn't count on him, and he was just getting started. Smoke rose from the streets. The sky stayed dark, filled with alien ships that watched everything. People no longer screamed. They were silent now, hiding, scared, obeying. But not Cade. Cade Walker moved fast across the broken rooftops. The young girl close behind, her name was Maya. She was quiet. She didn't ask many questions, only followed him. Cade didn't know who she was, but he had saved her. It made her his responsibility now. Below them, alien patrols searched the ruins. Some flew low, others walked with strange, silent steps. Their weapons glowed cold blue. Cade knew what they were looking for. Him, he had seen his face on the alien screen. Wanted K-117, that was his old code name from the Black program. One, the world had forgotten, but not the aliens. They remembered him, and that meant one thing. They were afraid. He stopped on a rooftop and looked down. a group of civilians stood in a line. Alien guards checked each person, scanning their heads with small black devices. If the scanner blinked green, they were pushed to the left. If it blinked red, they were taken away. No one ever saw the red ones again. Maya looked up at him. Why are they doing this? Kay didn't answer right away. His eyes stayed on the scanners. They're looking for something, he said. People like me. Why you? It was a lie. Cade knew why. Years ago, he was trained for special missions that never made the news. Deep under the ground in hidden labs, they tested humans, pushed their minds, changed their bodies, created weapons. Cade was one of them, but the program shut down. They said it was dangerous, unstable. Cade disappeared after that. No family, no contact. Just shadows. Now it seemed the aliens had found the old files, and they wanted him gone. Suddenly, he heard a sound, low, sharp, close. A drone, it came fast from the sky. Scanning the rooftop, Cade grabbed Maya and jumped behind a broken air vent. The drone passed over, then stopped. It scanned again. Cade reached into his pocket and pulled out a small EMP grenade. He had only one. He clicked it on, waited, then threw it. The grenade buzzed, flashed, and the drone dropped like a rock dead. But now they knew where he was. Cade grabbed Maya's hand. We move, now. They ran across rooftops, jumped between buildings, slid down broken fire escapes. Behind them, they heard ships moving, closing in. Cade had one place left to go, an old safe house under the city. He had built it himself. Years ago, deep inside the metro tunnels, it was hidden, sealed. Silent, they reached a ruined train station. Darkness filled the tunnels. The power was gone. But Cade had a backup generator inside. He pushed open a steel door and pulled Maya inside. The safe house was small, just a metal room with weapons, maps, food, and a single screen. Cade closed the door and activated the shield. No signal could come in or out now. Safe for the moment. Maya looked around. This place is scary. It's safer than the outside, Cade said. He turned on the screen. Lines of data filled it. Satellite feeds. Radio signals. Alien broadcasts. He tapped into one of the alien channels. A voice played robotic and cold. Search continues. K117. Still alive? Terminate immediately. Priority 1. Then another voice came. This one was human. Do not kill him yet. We need the others first. Cade froze. Another human? Working with them? He rewound the signal, cleaned it, listened again. The voice was familiar. It was Stroud. General Stroud. Cade's old commander. It's the man who had run the K-Class program. It's the one who told Cade to disappear, who shut everything down. Now, he was talking. To the enemy working with them, Cade's eyes narrowed. He knew what this meant. This invasion wasn't a surprise, it was planned. Maya sat on the floor, hugging her knees. Is it over? Did we lose? Cade looked at her. Not yet. He walked to the wall and opened a hidden panel. Inside were photos, files, notes from the old days. He pulled out one paper, yellow load. Worn. On it were the names of K-Class operatives. Cade, Sierra, Juno, Trace, all marked terminated, except his. Alive, he looked closer. One name was scratched out, but not completely Juno. Status, MIA missing. In action, maybe he wasn't the only one left. Maybe she was still alive. If he could find her, maybe they could fight back. Together, suddenly. A beeping noise echoed through the room. Cade turned. One of his motion sensors had picked something up just outside the door movement. Fast. Heavy. Maya backed away. Cade grabbed his rifle and moved to the door. He peeked through a small camera feed. One alien, not a drone. A soldier. Alone. No. Behind it came two more. One held a strange device. It beeped with red lights pointed straight at the door. They had tracked him, Cade. Cursed. They weren't supposed to find the safe house. He activated the emergency exit, a hidden tunnel behind the supply shelf. Come on. he told Maya. "We're leaving." She didn't argue, just followed. As they crawled through the tunnel, the door behind them exploded. A loud blast shook the walls. Dust fell. The aliens were inside, but Cade and Maya were already gone. They reached the end of the tunnel and came up into a dark alley behind an old police station. Cade pulled Maya to the side and waited. He checked the sky. No ships, no drones. Not yet, he breathed. They were safe. For now, but something was wrong. Maya was staring at her hands. They were glowing soft, pale blue. "What's happening to me?" she whispered. Cade stepped closer. "What do you mean I don't know? It started after they caught me. They put something in my head. Yeah, I feel different." Cade looked into her eyes. They weren't normal anymore. They shimmered. Alien tech, or something else. Before he could ask, a sound came from the old police radio beside them. Static, then words. "All survivors. East Zone. Bunker 17. Repeat. Survivors. We are not alone." Cade stood up. A signal. A call. Others were out there. He looked at Maya. "Come on. We're going to find them. But the aliens, we won't run forever. If they want me, they'll get more than they asked for." He looked up at the black sky they had come to conquer, to enslave, to hunt. But they made a mistake. They didn't kill him first. Now the hunted was becoming the hunter, and the blood was just beginning. The night was quiet, but not peaceful. The sky still glowed red, not from sunset, but from fire. Cities were still burning. Ships still floated above like metal gods, watching, waiting. People stayed hidden in fear. But deep under the ruins, Cade Walker was moving. Beside him was Maya, the strange girl with glowing eyes. They had escaped death twice already. But Cade knew they couldn't keep running forever. They had to understand why this was happening, and more importantly, why her eyes glowed. They reached the entrance of Bunker 17. It was hidden under an old hospital in East Zone, covered by rubble. Cade scanned the walls, looking for the Mark III faded red lines. It was still there. He pressed a hidden button. The ground opened. They went inside. Dim lights flickered. The smell of rust and chemicals filled the air. Cade led Maya down metal stairs deeper into the earth. The air got colder. Maya held his hand tightly. She was trying to be brave, but Cade could feel her fear. At the bottom, a large steel door blocked the way. Cade tapped a code one he had memorized years ago. The door opened with a long hiss. Inside the bunker, 3 people pointed rifles at them. Cade didn't flinch. "Stand down. I'm K117. A man stepped forward. His hair was gray, face full. "Of scars, Cade." Cade nodded. The man lowered his gun. "We thought you were dead." "Not yet," Cade replied. "And I'm not alone." He stepped aside so they could see Maya. She looked small under the flickering lights, a scarred. Man stared. "Is she one of them?" "No," Cade said. They were led inside. The bunker wasn't big. It had beds, food, power, and a few working screens. About 10 survivors were there, ex-soldiers, medics, engineers. Most looked tired, broken. But when they saw Cade, they sat up straighter. He wasn't. Just another survivor. He was a weapon, and maybe their only chance. Maya sat on a bench, looking at her hands. They still glowed softly. One of the medics, a woman named Dr. Velez, came to check her. "This isn't natural," she said. "There's something inside her, some kind of alien tech." "Is it dangerous?" Cade asked. "I don't know," Dr. Velez said. "But it's changing her." Cade looked at Maya. She had barely spoken since the last attack. But now she whispered something. "They took me to a ship." "What?" Cade knelt beside her. "Tell me." "I don't remember everything," she said. "Just a white room. Voices. They said I was a match, that I had the right mind, and they put something in my head. I felt hot and cold. Then, different? Did they say why?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "They said they were making me better." Cade's jaw tightened. This wasn't just war. This was an experiment. The aliens weren't just killing people. They were using them, changing them, testing them. He turned to the others. We need answers. We need to find one of their labs. The scarred man Reed shook his head. You won't come back alive. Anyone who gets near those places disappears. I won't disappear, Cade said. I'll bring back proof. That night, while the others rested, Cade studied the stolen alien maps from his device. One spot glowed darker than the rest sector. 9. A dead zone. No signals. No movement. Too quiet. Exactly where a lab would be. He left before dawn. With Maya beside him, she refused to stay behind. Cade didn't like it, but he knew better than to argue. Something inside her was changing. Fast. And somehow she was connected to all this. They traveled through tunnels, crossed destroyed buildings, and through burned streets. Dead machines lay everywhere. No drones, no patrols. Nothing. When they reached Sector 9, it was like stepping into a grave. Black ash covered the ground. Not from fire, from something else. Cade touched it. It stuck to his glove like dust from burned bone. In the center stood a tall building untouched. Smooth and alien. This is it, Cade whispered. They entered quietly. Inside was cold. Too cold. The walls were silver and smooth. No wires, no buttons. Just shapes and lights that seemed to move on their own. Then, voices. Cade froze. Ahead, through a glass wall, he saw them. 3 alien scientists. Their armor was white, not black, like the soldiers. Their heads were larger, and they moved slower. In the center of the room was a human body floating in a tank. Wires inside the skin, eyes open, not blinking. Still alive. Maya gasped. Cade pulled her back. They moved to another room. More tanks. More humans. Some were adults. Connected to machines, all changing. Cade took pictures, video, every file he could find. He found a terminal with English text. Someone had translated it. Project Human Evolution Status. Ongoing selected subjects. High potential brain patterns objective. Create hybrid link minds to control Earth population. Scrolled further. One file was locked. He used his old military code to break in. The file opened. Name Maya Rylan. Status. Hybrid Stage 2 control level. Unstable memory. Partially wiped potential. Maximum Cade. His blood went cold. They weren't just changing her. They were building her as a weapon. He turned to Maya. She was shaking, tears in her eyes. I don't. Want to be a weapon? She whispered. You won't be, Cade said. I promise. Suddenly alarms blared. The aliens knew. They ran. Cade grabbed what he could and led Maya through the halls. Drones appeared. Lights turned red. Doors slammed shut behind them. They reached the exit, but a tall alien stood. They're different from the rest. Its armor was gold. Its body stronger. Cade fired. The bullets bounced off. The alien raised its hand. A pulse of blue light hit Cade. He flew across the room, crashing into a wall. Pain filled his chest. He couldn't move. Maya screamed. The alien stepped toward her. She backed away. Hands glowing again, this time brighter. The alien reached for her. Maya's eyes flared. She screamed, and light exploded from her body. The alien flew back. Crashing into the wall, the lights died. Everything shook. Maya stood still, breathing hard. Cade forced himself up. Maya, he whispered. What did you do? I don't know, she said. I just wanted it to stop. They ran out as the building burned. By the time they returned to the bunker, the others were already packing. Something's happening, Reed said. The alien signals are going crazy. Cade nodded. I know why. He showed them the files. He told them the truth. The aliens didn't just come to rule. They came to build a new kind of human, one they could control or destroy. They used children, minds, brains, souls, they called it. Evolution, Cade called it horror. Everyone in the bunker looked at Maya now. She didn't hide. She stood tall. I'm not one of them, she said. And I'm not your weapon. No one spoke. Then Reed nodded. All right, kid. You're one of us now. Cade looked at the sky through a small window. They thought humans were weak. They thought they could change them, use them, but they didn't understand one thing. You can. Control the human spirit, and you sure as hell can't control Cade Walker. The cold wind blew across the dead streets. Cade Walker walked carefully, his rifle held close, eyes scanning every shadow. Beside him was Maya, her steps quiet, face calm. But Cade could tell something inside her had changed since the last encounter. Her eyes no longer just glowed. They burned. They had one goal now. Find Outpost Zero, the aliens' main command base on Earth. According to the stolen files from the lab, Outpost Zero was not a ship. It was built underground beneath an old nuclear plant near the mountains. That was where the signals came from. That was where the orders were sent. If they wanted to stop the invasion, they had to go there. No one had ever returned from that place but Cade. Didn't plan to return either. Not until it burned. They moved. Through the ruins of what used to be a military base, walls were torn down. Tanks sat dead in dust. Drones floated above, scanning. But Cade knew how to move without being seen. He led Maya through broken tunnels and old pipes. Every step brought them closer to the alien heart. Finally, after 2 days of quiet travel, they reached the mountain edge. It was dead silent. Cade raised his binoculars and looked down at the valley. There it was. Outpost Zero, a massive black dome, half buried in rock, surrounded by sharp towers. Alien guards marched. In strange formations, red lights pulsed from the ground. Above, dark drones hovered like insects. There were no roads. No human signs, only control. Cade lowered the binoculars. "We go at night," he said. Maya nodded. That night, clouds covered the sky. Cade and Maya moved quickly. They slid down the mountain, staying low, using shadows. They reached a side tunnel covered in dirt and ice. It led into the mountain wall, one of the secret backways Cade had found in old government files. They entered the tunnel. The silence was strange. No sound. No wind. Not even machines. Just dark, cold rock. Then a soft hum. The tunnel changed. Smooth. Walls, silver floors. They were inside the base now. Alien symbols glowed on the walls. Maya stared at them. "I can read it," she whispered. Cade looked at her. "What does it say?" She placed her hand on one of the signs. "Control Sector. Genetic Core. Weapon Lab. Mind Net." They kept moving. Each room they passed was stranger than the last. One room had human bodies frozen in clear blocks. Another had brains in tubes, wired to alien machines. Some were still moving, still alive. Maya looked away. "I hate them," she said quietly. "I know," Cade said. He felt the same. Then they found the command center. A round room filled with lights, screens, and one large alien interface. No one was there. Cade placed a stolen alien key into a console slot. The screen opened. He downloaded everything one screen showed. A map of Earth, colored red. But it wasn't just a war map. It was a progress chart. Human. Population, 7.1 billion, currently converted 2.9 billion. Marked for termination, 1.4 billion remaining free humans, 2.8 billion. Cade stared. They weren't just killing people, they were dividing them. Some were kept, some were changed. The rest were erased. "This is not just invasion," Cade said. "It's a harvest." Maya looked sick. Suddenly a voice came from behind. "You're not supposed to be here." Cade turned fast. A tall figure stepped from the shadows. Not an alien, a man human. But his eyes glowed red. His skin was pale, almost gray, and his voice had a metallic echo. "Who are you?" Cade demanded. The man smiled coldly. "I'm Command Leader Stroud." Cade froze. He knew that name. "General Stroud." "You were human. I am human," Stroud said, "just better." He stepped closer. "I saw what was coming, long ago." The old world was broken. War, pain, weakness. So when they offered me a choice, I took it. You sold out Earth, Cade growled. I saved it, Stroud said calmly. This new Earth will be clean, controlled, no more chaos, no more freedom, just peace. Cade raised his weapon. Stroud laughed. Shoot me, and the system locks down. You'll never leave, and the girl shall be one of us. Maya's eyes flared. I'm not yours, she said. Stroud looked at her carefully. Not yet, but soon. You were built for this, Maya. You have their gifts. And when the time comes, you'll join the mind net like the others. No, she whispered. Stroud turned back to Cade. Join us, or be erased. Cade fired. The bullet hit Stroud's head, but his body didn't fall. Instead, he flickered. Hologram Stroud wasn't really there, but the alarm was. Red lights. Screams echoed in the base. Cade grabbed Maya's hand. Run! They ran back through the halls. Alarms roared. Doors closed behind them. The walls shook. Then a loud voice filled the air. Warning, breach in genetic core. Releasing defense units. Cade cursed. They had triggered a trap. From the walls came tall, silver creatures, part machine, part flesh. Their faces were blank. Their hands were blades. They ran toward Cade and Maya. Cade fired. Maya raised her hands. A burst of light exploded from her palms. One creature flew back. Body cracked open. More came. They fought side by side. Blood, sparks, screams. Cade was cut on the arm. Maya was grabbed, but she broke free with another. Blast of power. They made it to the core chamber. Inside was a giant. Sphere-pulsing blue light connected to every part of the base. The brain of Outpost Zero. Cade ran to the controls. We destroy this, we kill the signal? How? Maya asked. Cade pulled out his final EMP core, like this. He planted it on the sphere. The walls screamed. More creatures came. Go! Cade shouted. I'm not leaving you, Maya cried. Now? She ran. Cade activated the EMP and ran after her. Behind them, the core exploded. Light flashed. Waves of energy shattered the walls. The base shook. They barely made it outside before the mountain cracked open. Outpost Zero was gone. Far above, the alien ships blinked. Some spun out of control. Signals broke. Lights died. Across Earth, their network fell into silence. They had hit them hard, but not enough. Back at the survivor bunker, Cade showed them the data. Everything they needed was there. Proof of the experiments, the real plan, and the betrayal. Stroud was still out there, still leading, but now Earth had a spark, a fire, a girl with strange powers, and a man who would burn the sky to keep her safe. Smoke rose into the sky. The mountain behind them was gone. Outpost Zero had exploded in a storm of fire, broken metal, and silence. Cade Walker stood on a hill, watching the last flames burn out. Ow. Maya stood beside him, her face tired but calm. Her glowing eyes reflected the firelight. They had destroyed the alien command base. But the war was not over. It was only beginning, far above. Some alien ships still floated, but they were no longer steady. Without Outpost Zero, many of the ships lost connection. Some dropped from the sky. Others hovered like lost animals. The alien system was broken, but not dead. And now was angry. Cade returned to Bunker 17 with Maya. The survivors stood waiting. When they saw the fire on the mountain, they thought Cade was dead. But he wasn't. He walked through the bunker doors like a soldier from a myth. Behind him, Maya carried the stolen alien data chip full of plans, maps, secrets. The room was silent, then red. The scarred old soldier stepped forward. You did it. Cade nodded. We hit them hard. Reed looked at Maya. Is she all right? Maya nodded. I'm fine. But she wasn't. Not really. Her powers were growing. Her dreams were strange. Sometimes she heard voices in her sleep, alien voices. Calling her back, Cade saw it, but said nothing. There was no time. That night, Cade gathered the survivors. There were 40 of them, now fighters, engineers, medics, hackers, tired people, broken people. But when they looked at Cade, They didn't see a man. They saw a symbol, a reason to fight. Cade stood in front of them and spoke. Outpost Zero is gone, but the war is not. They still control the skies. They still control our cities. But their system is weak now. Their army is confused. This is our chance. Held up the alien chip. This shows us everything. Patrol paths, weak points, bases, labs, power stations. We use this, and we make them bleed. Someone asked, what if they come back stronger? Cade looked them in the eye. Then we hit harder. He paused. I'm not asking you to die. I'm asking you to fight. For Earth. For the ones they took. The ones they changed. We don't need to win today. We just need to keep fighting. Till they understand one thing. His voice dropped low. Humans don't kneel. The room stayed silent. Then someone stood. Then another soon. All of them, they were ready. The next day, the resistance was born. Small groups spread across the ruined cities. Using the stolen maps, they attacked alien supply lines. Destroyed signal. Towers. Freed captured humans. Set traps. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens lost ground. Cade led from the front. His face became legend. Every base he hit, every soldier he dropped, left a message behind. K-117 was here. Maya stayed with him. She was no longer just a child. She was a weapon now by choice, not force. Her powers saved lives, crushed machines, shielded others from death. But inside, she fought a battle no one could see. The alien code in her brain was still growing. Sometimes she felt like something inside her wanted control. One night, after a long battle, she sat alone outside the bunker. Cade joined her. Can't sleep. He asked as she shook her head. I feel them. Even now. In the dark, in my head they whisper, tell me I belong to them. Cade sat beside her. They're wrong. What if they're not? Then we remind them, he said, that you belong to yourself. Maya looked at him. And what about you? What do you belong to? Cade didn't answer at first. I belong to the people they forgot. The ones they broke. The ones they buried. He looked at the stars. And I'm not done yet. The next day, a new signal appeared. Alien code. But this time, human voices were hidden inside. Cade. Listen carefully. They weren't enemy orders. They were calls for help. Resistance cells. Other survivors, fighters hiding in different zones. Some were still alive. Others were trapped. One name came through the noise. Juno. Cade froze. That was a name from the past. She was another. K-class operative. Everyone thought she was dead, but the signal said otherwise. Juno was alive and she was fighting. Her signal was weak. Sent from Zone 31, a red zone deep in enemy land. Cade made a choice. We're going after her, told Reed. That's suicide, Reed said. You go there, you don't come back. Cade looked him in the eyes. Then I won't come back. Alone? Maya stepped forward. I'm going to... No, Cade said. It's too dangerous, I'm not asking. He sighed. She was stubborn like him. All right, he said, but we go quiet. That night, they left. Through tunnels, across dead zones, past fallen towers and twisted metal. Everywhere they passed, Cade left signals for others. The message was clear. Join us. Fight back. Rise. By the time they reached Zone 31, it was like walking into a nightmare. The sky was black. The ground was cracked. Alien machines crawled over the land, sucking power. Human buildings were used as prisons, and in the center, an old science facility. That's where the signal came from. Inside. He found what was left of a lab, bidets, wires, tanks, but one room was still sealed. Cade blasted the door inside. A woman stood tall, strong, with gray hair and a scar over one eye. She turned. Her eyes widened. Cade. Cade stepped forward. Juno, she smiled. You're late. Juno stood still in the dark room, her back straight, hands at her sides. She hadn't aged much, but her eyes were tired. Soldier eyes, like Cade's. Cade looked at her for a long moment, I thought you were dead. Juno gave a small smile. You weren't the only one the program erased. Maya stood beside Cade, quiet, curious. She had heard the name Juno before from Cade from the files, from whispers in the alien code. Now she saw her in the flesh. Cade stepped closer. How long have you been stuck here? Since the fall, Juno replied. I tried to. Shut down one of their transfer gates. They caught me. But they couldn't control me, so they locked me up instead. How did you send the signal? I built it with scraps. Took months. She looked around. They're watching this. Zone less now. Their focus has shifted. Cade raised an eyebrow. Shifted where? To the north. Sector Omega. That's where Stroud is now. The name hit the room like a gunshot. Maya's fists tightened. Juno turned to her. This is the girl, isn't it? Maya nodded slowly. Maya. Juno looked. Into her eyes? Quiet. They changed you. Yes. Do you feel it inside you? Yes, Maya said, but I fight it. Juno gave a slow nod. Good. Cade looked between them, gathering resistance cells. If we hit them together, we might have a real shot. Juno shook her head. You won't stop this war by shooting patrols. You want to kill the root? You need to kill the source. You mean Stroud? Juno leaned forward. Stroud is not human anymore. Whatever he was, it's gone. What's left is something else connected to them, and he's building something. In Sector Omega. What? Cade asked. She looked him in the eye. A new Earth. Maya spoke. I saw it. In a dream. Cities of light. Humans walking like machines. No feelings, no names. Just numbers. That's their real plan, Juno said. Not to kill us, to erase us. Mind by mind. Cade clenched his jaw. How long do we have? Week, Juno said. Maybe. Unless he's building the final signal. When it launches, it will rewrite every brain implanted with alien code. Maya blinked. Her hand shook. That includes me, she whispered. Cade stepped close to her. We'll stop it. Maya looked scared. What if you can't? What if I change? Juno spoke softly. Hey, then you tell us now if it happens. Do you want us to end it? Maya looked down. Yes. Cade looked away, jaw tight. He hated this, but he understood. That night, they stayed in the ruins. The next day, they moved fast back through the zones. Juno joined them. Together, the three of them became a storm. They hit alien bunkers, freed prisoners, destroyed towers every time they struck. More survivors joined them. The resistance was growing, and Stroud noticed from the black towers of Sector Omega. Stroud watched the screens. His red eyes burned like fire. Around him stood his new soldiers, tall, half-human beings with no emotions, no voices, just obedience. He raised a hand. Begin activation. One of his techs spoke. The signal core is still unstable. Fix it, Stroud said coldly. We launch in 5 days. Earth will belong to us. Another screen blinked. An image of Cade appeared, and Maya dot, and now Juno. Stroud narrowed his eyes. They keep running, he said. But they will learn. Turned to a glass chamber nearby. Inside it floated a dark figure. Stroud smiled. Bring her online. 3 days passed. The resistance reached its full strength. 8 bunkers. Over 200 fighters. Drones. Modified alien. Weapons. Engineers. Pilots. And Cade at the center. He stood before them. A leader now, not by rank. By fire. They want to finish the war, he told them. Oh. Then let's make sure they never forget it. Cheers filled the halls. Maya stood by the wall, hands glowing. She could feel the signal now, buzzing in her brain like a storm was coming. Juno came beside her. You all right? Maya shook her head. It's getting louder. Can you control it for now? Juno nodded. Let me know if that changes. That night, Cade, Juno, and Maya rode a stolen skimmer towards Sector Omega. The skies were filled with alien towers blinking red. Scanning, they stayed low, dark, silent. Below them, they saw the new city being built, silver walls, black roads, strange towers rising from the earth like bones. Human slaves walked in perfect lines. Their eyes were empty, Maya whispered. That's what I would become. Cade looked at her. Not while I breathe. They reached the final approach, an old mountain road. Leading to the central tower, the signal core was there, pulsing with light. Cade looked through his scope. I see Stroud, who was on a platform, hands behind his back, looking at the sky. Then something strange happened. He turned and looked directly at them, even from that distance, as if he knew, as if he could see them. Suddenly, the screens in the tower lit up, and Stroud's voice echoed everywhere. All humans, hear me. Cade stiffened. You are not fighting a war. You are delaying evolution. The future is already written. Human mind is weak, broken, angry. I offer peace, purpose, strength. He paused. You don't need to die. You only need to obey. Whispered, he's trying to break us. Cade raised his rifle. Then we answer him in blood. They stormed the tower. With smoke, with fire, resistance teams came from all sides. Drones flew overhead. Alien soldiers fought back with cold precision. But humans fought harder. They reached the central chamber. Stroud stood waiting. Behind him, signal core, a black sphere of light, shaking with power. You came, he said. Cade stepped forward. It ends here. Stroud smiled. No, it begins now. He raised his hand. The signal core exploded with sound. Maya screamed. She dropped to her knees, hands over her ears. Her body glowed too bright. The eyes burned. The alien code was waking. Up, Juno ran to her, trying to help. Stroud walked slowly toward Cade. You never understood, did you? This isn't war. It's cleansing. And she, he pointed at Maya, is the key. The first hybrid. The signal uses her mind to spread. Cade's eyes widened. That's why they didn't kill her. That's why she heard the voices. They were using her brain as the main channel. Stop the signal, Cade shouted to Juno. Break the connection. I'm trying. Working on the control panel, but Maya was shaking now, light flowing from her like waves. Stroud stepped closer. You can't stop it. Unless you kill her. Cade looked at Maya, then at Stroud. No, he said. You're weak, Stroud said. I'm human, Cade replied, and he fired. The bullet hit Stroud in the chest. The man stumbled. Sparks flying. He tried to rise. Juno yelled, now. Cade ran to Maya, held her, spoke softly. You're stronger than them. You're not their tool. You're you. Maya's light flickered. Her hands trembled. She looked up and screamed. The light blasted in all directions, pure, bright, clean. Signal core shattered. The tower cracked. Stroud fell to his knees, his red eyes going dark, and the voice in Maya's head was gone. The sky cracked open. Waves of light shot upward from the ruined tower as the signal core exploded. Buildings around it trembled. Alien drones spun out of the sky. Machines froze. For a moment, the whole world went quiet. Maya lay in Cade's arms, still glowing, still breathing, but not moving. Her body was warm like fire. Her heart beat fast. Her eyes were closed, but tears fell from them. Cade held her tight. He looked up at Juno, who stood near the broken control panel, blinking from smoke. Is she alive? Cade asked. Juno came closer. She placed her hand on Maya's neck. Yes, but something's changed. Cade nodded. I saw it too. All around them, the alien systems were dying. Towers lost power. Ships hovered without command. Human prisoners blinked free from the control signal. They were no longer connected. Stroud lay nearby, his body twitching, sparks in his chest. His face was half human, half machine now. His eyes glowed red, but his voice was fading. You don't understand. He coughed. She was never yours. ... Cade stepped toward him, rifle ready. You made her into a weapon. But you forgot one thing. Stroud blinked. What? Cade's voice was like steel. Humans don't follow scripts. And he pulled the trigger. Stroud's body fell still. The betrayer was dead, but Maya was something else now. That night, back at the bunker, the survivors tried to rest. Some cried, some laughed, some just stared at the stars, like they were seeing them for the first time. Inside, Maya slept. Her glow was softer now. Her body calm. Cade sat beside her, guarding her like a brother. Juno stood in the doorway. "She's stable," Juno said. "But her brain patterns are not normal anymore." "She's still Maya?" Cade asked. Juno didn't answer right away. Then she said, "I think she's something new." Cade looked at the girl who had once been scared, hiding in ruins. The girl he had saved. The girl who now might have saved everyone. They thought she belonged to them, but she had burned their control from the inside out, and now she was free. The next morning, Maya opened her eyes. She sat up slowly. Cade rushed to her side. "You okay?" She nodded. "I saw everything," she said quietly. "I saw the network, the towers, the mines they trapped. I felt all of it. But then I chose. Chose what? To break it." She looked at him. "I'm not like I was. I still feel human. But I also feel more." Juno stepped forward. "Do you feel them? The aliens. Are they still inside?" "You." Maya closed her eyes. "No, they're gone. But I remember their systems, their language, their plans." She paused. "There's something worse coming." Cade stood. "Worse?" "Yes," Maya said. "This invasion wasn't the first wave. It was the test. A scout mission. The real force. It's coming." When Cade asked, "I don't know," Maya whispered. "But I saw their minds, their fear. The moment I destroyed the signal, they sent a message." "To who?" "We're the main fleet." Silence filled the room. Cade looked at Juno. "So we've only won the first round." Juno nodded grimly. "They're about to send in the real army." Cade paced. "Need to rebuild fast. Train more. Gather all resistance cells. We have a window and we use it." Maya stood up. "I'll help," she said. "You need to rest," Cade said. "I'm fine." "Stronger than before," Maya said. "But I'm not a weapon. I'm a shield. I want to protect those who can't fight." Juno looked at her. "Can you still control the systems?" Maya nodded. "Yes. Their tech listens to me now. Not fully, but enough." That was all they needed. That day, Cade sent out the signal. "To all humans, resistance lives. Stroud is dead. The signal is broken. We have a chance, if you can. Fight. Come. If you can't, hide and wait. Earth is not lost." And the replies came hundreds, then thousands. Old. Soldiers, scientists, farmers, kids with tools. They were ready, and they had a leader now. Not just Cade, but Maya too. 2 days later, the sky changed again. Dark clouds moved unnaturally. Thunder without rain. A strange hum spread through the air. Maya stood outside the bunker, staring up. "They're here," she said softly. Juno and Cade joined her above the clouds. Black shapes formed, not like before. These weren't ships, they were structures. Massive, floating, alien. Fortresses shaped like bones and machines. Cade stared. "How do we fight that?" Maya didn't answer. She turned and walked back into the bunker, and the resistance prepared. The sky turned black. Not from night, but from them. Giant alien fortress ships floated above the earth like dark gods. Their shapes were not smooth like the first wave. These were ancient, sharp, alive. They hummed with power that made the ground. Sheikh Cade Walker stood on a hill, looking at the sky through binoculars. His jaw was tight. "This is it," he said. Behind him, Maya stood silently, her glowing eyes fixed on the sky. She was calm, focused, but something inside her had changed. Again, she was no longer afraid. She was ready. Juno came running up the hill. They've landed 2 ships already. One in Asia, one near the Atlantic. They're sending out harvesters, scanning the ground, looking for survivors. They want to finish the job, Cade said. They want to erase us, Maya added. But Earth was not the same anymore. The people were ready. Across the globe, resistance bunkers lit up. Old satellites blinked back online. Hidden armies rose. Not trained soldiers, ordinary people. Mechanics, students, doctors, farmers. Armed with stolen tech, homemade drones, alien rifles. They were tired of hiding. They were tired of running. And now, they were fighting back. Cade stepped into the command room. The bunker was full. Maps glowed on the wall. Radios buzzed with voices from around the world. This is Havana, cell awaiting your signal. Ridge base reports, 47 drones down ready. For push. Delhi unit confirms alien walker disabled. Resistance is alive. Cade took the mic. This is K-117, he said. All the radios went silent. Stroud is dead. The signal core is broken. Maya's free. We've beaten them. Once in now, the real army is here. But so are we. Every street they land on, they'll find fire. Every tower they raise, we'll tear down. This is our home, and we're not done yet. He looked at Maya. She stepped forward. I am Maya Rillen, she said, voice steady. They made me, changed me, tried to own me, but I belong to no one. I am human. And I am not alone. The room erupted with cheers. War had returned to Earth. But this time, Earth was ready. The first strike happened at dawn. A massive alien fortress tried to anchor over Europe. It opened a gate in the clouds, and machines began dropping from the sky. But the resistance was already there. EMP cannons fired. Human pilots and stolen alien ships zoomed through the sky, shooting with hybrid weapons. Bombs lit up the air. Below, resistance teams on motorcycles and trucks moved fast, hitting weak points. Maya stood at the command post, her mind connected to the alien systems. I can delay their sink, she said, but only 4 minutes at a time. Cade nodded. That's enough. He led a strike team directly into the alien ship's underbelly using stealth jets. The inside of the ship was worse than anything they had seen. Humans trapped in stasis. Minds still active. Bodies frozen. This isn't just war, Cade said. It's farming. They planted charges. They destroyed the core. That ship crashed into the ocean. But then came the warden. A giant being dropped. From the sky, not metal, not flesh, something in between, walked like a god. Spoke in a voice that made birds fall from the sky. You will kneel, it said. Maya stepped forward alone. She didn't answer with words. She raised her hand, and light exploded from her body. The warden stumbled. The two clashed, energy against energy. Maya was pushed back, but she didn't fall. She was no longer just human, no longer alien. She was something new. She reached into the warden's mind and showed it something the aliens didn't understand. Hope, it screamed, and burned and vanished. 3 days passed, more ships fell, some humans died, but more rose. In Africa, local tribes fought side by side with X-soldiers. In Russia, farmers turned trains into rail-guns. In Australia, teens used hacked satellites to crash an alien probe. The world was fighting together, for the first time in history. One cause, one home, one people. On the 7th day, the final alien fortress prepared to launch a planet-wide blast. It would burn everything from orbit. Maya stood inside a dropship with Cade and Juno. This is it, Cade said. Take the core, or Earth burns. Juno handed Maya a blade made from alien steel. In case your powers fail, they won't, Maya said softly. But thank you. They entered the ship in silence. Every hallway was guarded. Every step was war. Juno fought like a shadow, silent and deadly. Cade fired without hesitation. Maya used her light to blind, disable, break the systems. Finally, they reached the core room, a chamber full of energy. A swirling machine the size of a building, The last signal, the last threat. An alien queen waited. Their tall, cold eyes like black stars. "You ruined everything," she said to Maya. "I was never yours," Maya replied. The queen attacked, but Maya didn't fight with rage. She fought with will, with memory, with the love of every human who had died. The queen fell, and Maya stepped into the center of the core. Cade shouted, "No, you'll die." "I'm the signal now," Maya whispered. "Only I can stop it." She closed her eyes, glowed brighter than ever before, and erased the signal. The fortress shook. Cade pulled her free before it collapsed. They escaped as the sky exploded. Weeks passed. The alien fleet fell back. The world was quiet again. Burned, but not broken, Maya walked through a field where flowers had started growing again. Cade stood beside her. "We won," said. "No," Maya said. "We survived. Now we build." Juno called on the radio. "Time to meet the New Earth Council." Cade smiled. Maya looked up at the stars. "They thought I belonged to them," she said. "But now I belong to Earth." And far above, in the dark space between stars, another enemy watched. But this time, Earth would be waiting.